Facebook Live right now. Candy, Mike, and Todd on the one. The Seahawks here waving. Hey. All right, we gave you a little taste of our stories. You've been texting your votes. Candy, Mike, Todd at 98973. From the 206, they say, all of your stories sound so good today, I can't decide. Which I said, you must choose. And then they said, okay, fine, Todd. All right, so that was a pressure vote for you, Todd, so I don't know if we should count that or not. From the 206, Mike, I just wanted to let you know that I really enjoyed listening to Todd today, so I won't be voting for you, but my girlfriend is. So that's a split vehicle. We're going to go with Mike. You get that vote. From the 425, I want to hear about Todd's plump porpoises, which is kind of gross because I think you were talking about the dead dolphin before. And from the 425, I love dolphins. Todd, I vote for Candy and her love-hate-hate today. All right. The Choose Your News scoreboard currently says Todd is sitting at 42. Mike is sitting at 54. He needs to go on vacation again. I'm going to be honest. I am sitting at 44. We do have a winner.
If you ain't first, you're last.
That's right, Ricky Bobby. Today the winner of Choose Your News is Mike Lewis. Congratulations.
So this is a story. I'm going to only be able to get into a small part of it. It's a lengthy story in the Atlantic. It is absolutely, particularly if you have any association with the military, it is absolutely should be a must read. This is a woman named Sandra City. She is a former CIA worker. She was a language expert, and she worked on connecting, sort of interpreting details and information that they would gather in Baghdad into actual usable intelligence. So let me just read you a section of the story that she's talking about. Before I deployed, I stood in a line with other contractors and soldiers at Fort Benning in Georgia waiting for a physical. The contractor in front of me wore a shirt with fake blood splattered on the side, a makeshift kidney wound, and the words that said, "I'm okay, don't worry." But she's in line, and then she starts speaking to this older guy next to her, who's a military veteran. He says, "Where are you going?" And she said, "Baghdad, the embassy." She said, "How old are you?" he asked. 22, she lied. Actually, she was 5 months shy of 22. He frowned. "Have they issued you a firearm?" I shook my head. He nodded and looked out at the line of men behind us. The creases in his forehead were like rails on a train track. He turned back to me and leaned close. "A tall blonde? Get a weapon," he said. They called his name. He looked at the nurse and said back to me, "Get a weapon." And then he repeated and walked away. And she writes this, "I thought he meant for insurgents." Here's where the story goes. From the moment she arrived there, the ratio was in the neighborhood of 80, 90 to 1 in most rooms. She said that it was nearly constant, not just the men hitting on her and the really pervasive nature of sexual harassment. It was the grabbing. It was this discussion with her supervisor who said, "Wow, the men are giving you a lot of attention. You're complimenting her on her looks," and then leans in close. It is someone who had been a friend of hers for a little while and says, "Are you a virgin?" And she said she mumbled something in response. She was surprised at herself for even answering it honestly, and she was at that particular point. And he looks at her and says, "How about we change that?" Oh, my God. Right. This is the number of sexual assaults in the military has risen almost every year for the past 10 years with 20,500. These are not sexual. These are actual physical sexual assaults. So this is what the story is about. She actually isn't anti-military in any way. She's pro-America and pro-military, but she talks about the pervasive nature of sexual harassment in the military. Her story is very specific and very chilling. And for any woman who's been in the military, you probably have similar stories. My heart goes out to you, but this is an absolute must-read. Look for it today in the Atlantic. You can find it at Atlantic.com. And the writer's name is Sandra Sidi, S-I-D-I.
Let's put it up on the social media pages, Candy, Mike, and Todd, so people can get direct access to it. Can I ask a question on the text line? Is that okay? This is really sometimes so hard to talk about. Did this happen to you? Or did you witness something like this? Tell us at 98973. And this needs to be known. Mike, does she have any idea why this change that she says has gone on, this increase in these horrific acts? Why
the underpinning of the story is that nothing's really been done to address it. There are channels now at least to report it, but reporting it is one thing. Then finding out and structurally developing a method. The other thing is that and she's actually sympathetic. And other stories have talked about this, like the length of time people are out there and how they're getting a little, like sometimes the amount of pressure that they're under, they act out not just in these ways, in all kinds of ways that are very, very difficult when you spend that much time under an acute amount of pressure.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's choose your news. The stories that did not win, don't sweat it. We're all one big team. We'll get to those stories later, 6:30. If you don't want to miss them, just text the word APP, APP, to 98973, and you'll get to hear all the stories. Coming up on the Katie, Mike, and Todd Show is football unfairly treated as a uniquely dangerous activity for the young'uns. It's coming up. Right now, get a traffic report from Tracy Taylor.
So there's a wreck on North 95 out near Mount Vernon Road.